there are rooms that don't have cameras, at least in the States.
Yep.
I'm gonna Google it and read it tonight. I want to know all about that. But you're right. I've seen plenty of guys really get it. For some reason, the few times that I've done it, I knew the cops and I knew, they're trying to talk me off the cliff. They're not. Right. They're not trying to egg me on so they can come in and kick my ass. Because I've always gave them respect because I deserve respect back. But if it was against, if it was a bunch of just say LAPD or LA sheriffs at downtown at the Metropolitan County Jail, I would never do it there. I would never have them cell extract me there because they will beat the brakes off you. They're required to do it. They get special tattoos when they do it. Most of them have Changa Luchador, which means monkey wrestler. Right. For LA County, and it's hella racist and it's hella but that's
notoriously racist.
It's a popular tattoo with the LA County sheriffs. Anyway,
we're watching this take place in a lot all over the country right now. That the beautiful thing about 2025 and the beautiful thing about 2024 is we're getting to the point now where there are so many people that do what we do and there's that bring these stories to light, that talk about this stuff. People with these who would never tell a story. We're talking about the jesters and we're doing a lot of stuff. The number of people who have been either jesters or Freemasons or people in the shrine that have reached out to us, it's freaking remarkable. And these people want the stories out. They don't want to tell them. They don't want to have anything to do with telling the stories, right? They're because of where they're at, they're in positions where they can't. But in 2025, anybody that's got a story can text it to somebody that wants to tell that story. It's a very different world that we live in. It really, really is.
Like you said the other day, the climate is just almost perfect.
Yeah, it really is. Everybody's fed up to beat hell. This dude I know murdered his fiance, also had kids with her. Wow. He was given life without parole in 2021. From your experience, what would his prison life be like?
It wouldn't be good.
It's not going to be good. No. Murdered his fiance. He also had kids with her. But it just depends where he goes, what state,
and how he killed her.
And how? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was going to say that, and how he killed her. And those dudes are going to find out. He's not just going to walk in there with his chest out and be like, "Yeah, I killed my girl because she was a nagging bitch or whatever." Those dudes are going to be like, "Man, what'd she do to deserve that?" And it better be a good reason in most places.
It's a pretty interesting question. We don't in the feds very. It's kind of rare that you run across like the straight murderer because it's usually not a federal offense. But I did time with a guy that killed his wife. Well, he was a male nurse when he was on the street. By the time I met him, he was in his 60s. He was teaching yoga, and very, very relaxed, very cool. And one day he asked me what I was in for, and I kind of spit out my story a little bit. And I was like, "What are you in for?" And he goes, "I lost it." He's like, "I got really spun out on meth." And he kind of told the story. And he goes, "I cut off my wife's head and I put it on the passenger seat of the car and drove it through like 9 states before he got pulled over." For real, right? And I'm like, "Holy crap. Why would you do that?" And he goes, "Well, the rest of it was in the trunk and I was dropping her off part by part." And he's telling you this story like, I went down to the grocery store, picked up some Kleenex and some beer. Right? It was just a very matter of fact. And I'm looking at this dude going, you would never know, right? You would absolutely have no idea. But I said to him, what did they treat you bad? How do people put up with when they hear about that? And he goes, "Well, I've kind of mellowed out in my old age." But he said when he first got to the feds, it was hell. Every time somebody found out what was up. And that comes down to if he had shot her in jealousy, right? Guys kind of can figure that. I think that people lose sight of this, but inmates always got to be able to sit down and go like this. All right, I can
rationalize it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. You caught your old lady doing this. It may not have been the smartest thing in the world, but you shot her and the guy. Okay, I can see that, right? That's why they can't put up with weirdos. Because the person comes in and he's like, "Yeah, I got caught with 40 images on my phone of prepubescent," and you're like, "No, I can't see that." Right? That don't make any sense to me. It's not going to make sense to anyone else in here either.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's real talk. But
that's crazy. I was cellies with this guy for a long time, not in the feds. It was in a state, and he was a great tattoo artist. We had a lot to, in common and talk about, and he's telling me about how he used to sell coke to Andre Agassi in Vegas, and at first, you're like, oh, okay, but I have a lot of star stories, which I'll share some of those someday, especially my Alanis Morissette one. But my wife's always like, why don't you tell the Atlanta story? But anyway, and I had a hard time believing, oh yeah, sure, you sold coke to Agassi, whatever. And he's like, no. And he had some pictures sent of him and Agassi like this in front of 2 Corvettes, and I was like, okay. And some other pictures of some paraphernalia with him. And I was like, okay, he did. But anyway, I come to find out the dude killed his girlfriend and buried her in an anthill or something in the desert outside of Vegas. And how he got caught is that when he was on the way there or something like that, he was on the way there and he had her in the back of the truck and he kept thinking she was sitting up or something like that. And that just drove him crazy. So he like put her in this hill and couldn't leave, or was like driving us. I can't remember, and this was my celly for a long time. And I really needed to know, to have a good reason, or something I could, right. There's never a good reason, but for me to live with him further, I as cool as he was and as much as we had in common, I needed to rationalize it. Come to find out that I really did. I ended up not liking the guy and I moved out, but yeah.
That happens all the time.
Is that convoluted or?
No. I think that's something that happens a lot in prison. It really is. There's just times where I've met guys and you hear them tell what they were busted for, and the way they tell and everything else. Like they get to the end of their story and you're like, unless this guy's got a shoebox full of drugs in his cell, I don't think this guy has a chance of getting along. Okay, for real. He needs to have the largest stash in the BOP, or he's going to need a new cell.
Yeah.
I used to really get hung up on that kind of crap. If a man murks his wife or girlfriend because he found out she was like working and looking at images and having things of that nature, how would he be treated? Like a hero?
Like a hero.
Yeah, like a hero.
Yeah. There's that is probably it's hard to describe. There's no way you can go into prison with a better jacket. Like if you went in there and they said, what are you in here for? Oh, I found out these guys had been hurting kids and I murked 3 of them. They would be like, oh, hey, do you need anything?
Yeah.
I got a radio. Yeah. What do you want? I got a MP3 player. You can come home and date my sister. You know what I mean? You're instantly cool, man. You're instantly really, really cool. That's about the coolest thing you can have on your jacket.
Maybe some of my Montana viewers will know this guy. This guy, he called himself Biscuit. He's super old. He's doing, quadruple life or whatever in Montana State Prison. And Biscuit, he's just this little old man, no teeth, but everyone like, hey, Mr. Biscuit, you doing okay, Biscuit? Because he killed his kid's PDF.
Right.
And or unalived him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
he was a king, man, and he loves telling the story. That was the coolest thing. He could tell that story 100 times a day for 100 years, and he still feels so passionate about it. I'm just like, yeah, get him, Biscuit, get him, man. Yeah,
and everybody's like this.
Yeah. Tell it again.
Yeah.
Every one of them said it. That's what I would do.
Invited him to dinner, had him at his house for dinner, and worked him right in the dining room. Anyway,
and everybody's doing the ooh, ah at all the right times. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Watermelon Moonshine. When did I change my name? After I got out of prison this last rip. So 2020. I dropped the Brett in 2020. Will they let you change roommates in prison? Absolutely. It happens all the time. You're forever swapping out one cellmate for another for all kinds of reasons. You can't get along with them. A new guy comes in, like if, you got a guy that comes into your unit who you knew from another joint, it's almost instant. It's like, dude, I've known this dude for years. He and I are moving in.
Yeah. If I ever came in to a joint and Rocco was sitting there, I'd be like, dude, kick your
that's what you did. That's what you did in the shoe.
Yeah.
He gave him the shoe, and I was in the window, and he's like, looked at the guard. He's like, hey man, get him over here.
I need that boot.
Yeah. Get this fool.
It's good time. It's good time.
In the feds, you can. I don't know how it goes in there, but in the state, you just go up to the what's the warden associate or whatever,
Mhm.
his
Warden?
clerk,
Yeah.
clerk,
Oh,
and that's
right.
usually an inmate, and we just tell him the names, and he hasn't moved.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you
we got no
remember-
inmate love in the feds. You had to go to a staff member, but you just had to go to. But it wasn't a hard thing to do. As long as you're not a jerk off, they're usually pretty good about helping you out. Carmen Chameleon says, "Big fan of Atlantis. Please tell me, Casper." And although I didn't highlight it because it didn't have the question thing on it, Quibs also said, "Oh no, is this story going to make me hate Atlantis Morissette?" So see, now we got people kind of worried about it, and I can't really have that. So how about you take the time?
Okay. There's two versions of this story. There's the version where I'm like standing up and I'm telling it, and I'm like, I go from one room to the other, and I draw a little diagram of what the couch looked like. So anyway,
I know that version.
Yeah, with a pencil on the wall. Okay, see, it was like an L couch, and there was a table there. I was sitting there, and I was like, man, I smell something really bad. But anyways, I'll just like, so anyway, a friend of mine, she was an artist liaison for MCA Records. I believe it was MCA. So like if an artist came to town, she would pick them up at the airport, and let them know their itinerary, when they would get to the label to do whatever they had to do. It could be anything from recording to anyway. So we used to all go out on the weekends, and I was a grip at the time for, I would go like work on different, shoots, and mostly like B movies, Roger Corman type movies. I was a grip for. And anyway, she said, "Hey, I have a new artist in town. She's from Canada. She's not really well known here, but she's like Madonna in Canada, right?" And we're just like, "Oh, cool." They're like, "Well, we want to go out tonight. She wants to go out tonight." It's like, "All right, well, just meet us at the house, and we'll do a little pre-gaming, and then we'll all go out." And she's like, "Okay, perfect." So anyway, so I get home. They're already there. My roommates are there. It's just like 5 guys living in this. We called it the skid pad. It was like 5 of us living in this skid pad, and we all worked in the industry. Anyways,
Relaxo.
Yeah. So there's this long-haired girl sitting on the couch, and with my friend Chris, who's the liaison, and my friend Razzle, he's talking to her, and I go over there and I go get a glass of box wine or whatever. And he like comes into the kitchen, and he's like, "Dude, the Canadian chick, she smells like poop, bro." What? He's like, "Dude, she smells like straight poop." Maybe it's a French thing. I don't know, but dude, I'm like, no way. Right. And we're in our 20s, and we straight clown, and our friend Chris, she already knows something's up. Because she knows us. She knows. She's like, "Oh no, these dudes better." So she comes in. She's like, "You better behave. You guys are up to no good." He's like, "Yeah, but Razzle said, oh, girl smells like poop." And she's like, "No, she doesn't. Stop." So anyway, so I go over there. So it's like a couch, like a sectional, like a corner couch. Everyone probably has one, and it has like a little table in the middle. So she's sitting there, and everyone's talking. We're talking about doing homemade tattoos with the homemade like prison type style, right? And she's like talking about, "Yeah, I want to get these stars, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I go sit on the coffee table, and I like kind of like I'm trying to smell her, right? So I'm like leaning in, and I'm like trying to smell, and I smell it. I totally smell poop, and so I'm like, "Oh my God, this chick does smell like poop." So we go back in the kitchen. We're like, "Man, what are we gonna do?" And Chris was like, you guys behave. He's like, "Well, you brought this, French, bitch." I'm trying not to swear. And bitch to my cream, she smells like shit. And she's like, "No," she said, "maybe it's your house that smells like shit. I don't know." But anyway, the girl hears it, right? And obviously it's Atlantis, because we've already established that. But she's not famous. Jagged Little Pill hasn't come out yet. She's coming there to promote Jagged Little Pill. And So yeah, we just get in a big argument. They leave. I follow them out to the elevator because it's like underground parking. You have to take the elevator down the thing. And we're arguing there, and anyway, we all go out, but we go our separate ways. They go to like the Roxbury, and we go somewhere else, right? Like really, the Roxbury. Yeah, I can never do that. So anyway, we end up drinking all night. And we're doing the end show at my place.
Yes.
And our neighbor, yeah, Jack. Excellent. And we had this neighbor. Her name was Lisa, but we called her Manuel Relisa. She was a prostitute, but she swore she never slept with anyone. Right? She's like, oh, I just pretend and I simulate it, and we're like, oh, whatever. So we called her Manuel Relisa. And anyway, on the weekends, Manuel Relisa would go to Vegas to strip, and we would watch her dog. So, and she had like this little Shih Tzu. Well, anyways, this little, we're in there, and there's this girl sitting on the couch where she is, and we've already told them the story. Like, yeah, this French Canadian Madonna, rock star came, and couch smells like poo, and she's like, ooh, that chick left her stench on your couch. I still smell it. I was like, what? No way. But the chick gets curious, so she's like looking. Anyways, they pulled the cushion, and there's a big, like half white, broken dog turd. Yeah, it's like broken, right? And so it must have dried, and anyway, the dog pooped on my couch, right? But it must have dried. And then when Alana sat down, it broke open. Well, what's crazy is that Alanis must have a ton of pets or something, because she was like, I don't, didn't smell anything or whatever. She didn't say, your house smells like shit or whatever. But anyways, so, I tried to apologize. We tried to send her flowers, and they're like, no, Chris is in total big trouble with the label. The label's like, because she told her, like, hey, I don't want this chick around me. Anyways, as a side story, the girl Chris ends up falling in love with her. This is a totally separate, like, little quick story. I don't know if I told you this part.
Yeah, but yeah, a stalking charge or some shit.
Stalks her, and like has my brother Ben write this like song and put it on a 4-track and wrote her this song. Anyways, we tried to apologize. She wasn't having none of it, and I don't know if that story gets funnier over the years or if I've just told it, and but that's the quick version. There is a really funny animated version of that if you could see me in person, because I'm
you hate to say things like this. I really do. I hate to say things like this because obviously I don't glorify substances in any way, but I'd recommend the way to see that is to hear that story the first time is on just a smear of a 50 paper, right? a bag of warm wine that just came out of a toilet, and a really top-notch animator with a big chunk of metal, right, that's been screwed to the wall on a cockroach alley that they call Black Candy.
Yeah.
HU.
Yeah, but honest God, true story. Yeah. That was in 1994. 1994.
That must have been a long time ago.
Yeah. So funny. And here's the crazy thing, right? First of all, I'm a fan, but if I got the radio on, like, I'd be listening to my MP3 player and I'd hear, I want you to, I'd be like, Pooh Girl, instantly.
Yeah.
And after Casper told the story, I'm still in the shoe at Phoenix for like 6 more months after you left, and nobody in my cell has ever seen you. And the song would come on and people would be like, Pooh Girl. Because each new dude that would come in would catch half of the story from somebody that heard it the first time. I wonder, honestly, how many people out there when she comes on the radio, having heard that story, just go, hey, it's Pooh Girl.
Pooh Girl.
Well, I mean, Alfred Barr heard it that night, and but no one had heard of her. So there's like, and it's
Dio?
Hollywood. And it's
Remember
Hollywood.
Heavy Dio, the guy that fell on me in the stairwell?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I come out one day and I'm in the rec yard, and Dio's telling the Pooh Girl story to 2 cops. Straight up, man. It got around.
Yeah. Yeah.
It got around. Oh man, that's funny.
There you go. I finally told my wife's going to be so happy.
I'm pretty pleased. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm pretty pleased.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That really is funny.
I'll never look at her another way. So
She didn't do anything though.
I know, but that
Yeah,
I'll have that association.
Yeah, like I feel like I should still try to contact her and apologize.
I'd really like to work this whole poo girl thing out. I realize it's been a few years, but do you remember that whole,
yeah,
like
you're my house. I was gonna give you a tattoo. Remember?
Yeah, I'd still like to knock that tattoo out if you haven't got it. And sorry about that whole poop thing. We figured it out.
You're right.
Yeah, we figured it out. It was a dog.
Hard to go wrong.
I'll post it on YouTube.
Got a platform. We'd be happy to clear your name up.
Yeah.
I know that there were a lot of creative cooking done in prison. Is there any prisons-made food creations that you ever miss or wish you had? Absolutely. I would be more than happy to answer this because there is something, and I've not made one since leaving prison, but I would take the nutty bars. I would take the nutty bars, take one of them, and put it on top of a Monster honey bun and throw it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. And then you take the Monster honey bun and you just push it around the outside of the thing like a taco. And I would go in and put it in the ice machine. And then you go back and get the thing in about 15 minutes, right? Absolutely the greatest creation on earth. And I'm probably not likely to make one on the street. They're a little hard to get the right ingredients. They don't sell a honey bun that
right,
big.
Yeah. I was going to say.
One is prison.
Yeah, you can't get Keefy or, anything that was good in there out here. You can get something like
Cactus Annie.
Yeah, yeah.
Kids go to Cactus Annie.
You can get Cactus Annie online. The refried beans.
Yeah,
love Cactus Annie. Do you know how many guys I knew who had Cactus Annie tattoos?
Really?
I've done a couple. Yeah,
you're doing too much if you got Cactus Annie. Yeah, for those not aware.
Or what was the cow? City cow.
Like
remember City cow squeeze cheese?
Yeah. What about?
It was like City cow or something.
What about the Chinese? The Chinese that always said "Eat it, Joe's" or whatever. They did that in the state. All the guys had the same tattoo in Chinese. It meant "Eat it, Joe's,"
and every single one of them said it meant something else.
Right.
What does that mean? Strength and honor.
Right.
Yeah. Sure, because that dude over there said it was his kid's name.
Right.
No, that goes on a lot. It really does. I believe that. Hey, what does that say? It's number 4 at Hoi Fong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's off the dinner menu.
Okay, can I tell a quick story? That reminded me of. So I have a symbol right here that I came in and it was like I'm a Taurus, so it's for a bull, right?
I know it.
So I'm standing in these showers, and it's like there's shower heads come out of the wall, but there's just like a little divider that's only like this wide, so you see each other, right? But there's a little bit divider. So like I'm showering, and I'm like I keep catching this little short Asian dude like staring at me, and I'm like, I was like, hey man, what's up? He's like, what year you born? And I mean no disrespect by my impersonation.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what year you born? I was like, what, dude? Quit! What are you doing, man? He's like,
why are you shell sharking me?
What year you born? And I was like 69, man. He's like, you're not a cow, you're chicken. You're chicken. You're not cow, you're chicken. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Your tattoo, you wrong year. You chicken. That's say cow. I'm like, yeah, but I'm a Taurus, dude. I'm an American. It's like the same. He's like, no, that's cow. A cow, you chicken. You chicken. Hey.
You're lucky you weren't born in 1970. He might have said year of the rat. And he would have just punched you.
I had to.
No, you rat.
He didn't tell you smell like poop.
Everyone, Casper rat. Yeah. But man, if he called me chicken one more time, though, man, he must have said it like 30 times. And, no, you chicken, you chicken. Quit looking at me, weirdo.
It's funny, man. You know something? Yeah. I get really weird about stuff like that. I hated it when people look at you in the shower, man. For real.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. What about the guy you see walk into the shower with no shower shoes?
Oh, they'll beat the bark off you in the feds for that. Beat the bark off of you. Yeah. That is a party foul, man.
You're walking into a place where everybody kills kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the Jack Shack for some.
That's right. Exactly. You don't want the swimmers, man.
Yeah.
The swimmers.
You're dropping kids off.
I could never do it. I could never do it in the show. Anyway.
You know what you needed though? You needed the wetsuit.
Yeah.
Big laminations. Jasper and Tommy, there's a new movie about Bob Matthews and the Order. It's pretty good. Either of you do any time with any Order members? Is it true David Lane was known as a kite dropper?
Yes.
All of the above.
Yeah. Yes to all of the above. Yep.
And it's astounding how many times there'll be people and names, and you go, that's probably not the kind of person that would. I don't want to talk ill of the dead, but I know some people that did time from Stone Temple Pilots.
Mm-hmm.
When he got locked up, and they said that he was yelling at the top of his lungs from his cell. Dude, the cell 3 is doing this. Like he was anything he could to try to get any kind of assistance because he was really, really sick.
Yeah. I had a real issue with David at Terre Haute, and here's the deal. Like, he's a smart guy. He was a really smart guy. He's charismatic, but he had so many guys, and this, and I was younger at this time, but he had so many guys swinging off his nuts, and like would kill a warden if David said, hey, I want this warden dead, they would have done it. And I just didn't agree with just the way he carried himself, the way he used people. And that was, and he did drop a lot of kites, but he knew he was dying. And I think a lot of times, like, people are like, man, someone in here is dropping a kite. Well, it can't be the lifers because they went to trial. Well, no, it absolutely can be the lifers who went to trial. They might not have told on their case, but this is their world in here, and if they feel, and if they feel they can control their world by dropping a kite or telling on someone, or they'll do it in a second. They'll do it in a second, and like you said, we're screwing it up, and like the last time I went back, everyone's like, oh, hey, Casper's back, and I was like, hey. I don't want none of that. I'm here making a guest appearance and I'm gone. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to be anyone. I'm not trying to tattoo anybody. I don't need respect from anyone. And my mindset had really changed. Yeah. And
I just want to restart my paper.
Yeah, right? Exactly. I'm just trying to restart this bit, bro. Restart it, man. Revocation action.
Yeah.
A little revocation. I was talking about that. It's very, very funny that you said that. My girlfriend said last night, did it ever occur to you? Because she was talking about actually all three of us. And she said, if people saw you, they wouldn't think any of you guys had done time. You know what I mean? And I said, well, you're not seeing us in our heyday. One thing, right? We're very different people out here than we were in there. And she said, it's interesting. If you went back, would you go back to the person that you used to be? And I said the same thing. I'm like, on my last sentence, man, nothing. Like I wasn't doing anything, right? I made ink because as far as I was concerned, that was honorable as hell. I wasn't running a poker table, so I wasn't taxing anybody. I wasn't getting people into debt or doing any of that. You wanted to buy some ink? I made real dark ink, and it kept me from being in the game. But I changed completely on that last.
Yeah, I hated being called big homie. I'd rather you call me Pops.
Oh,
yeah, right.
I'd rather you call me Pops than big homie, just because it was always about the ink. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was always about the affiliation, and I was done. I was over it, and I just had no respect for that, and I had a ton of respect for myself finally, and like what I was trying to do out here, which was just come from a place of love as often as I can, not have any hate, and always just try to have integrity and be honest. And I don't want to stand on my soapbox right now, but that's what I did. And
you're in the right spot for that. Amazing. We actually like that on the boat, man. You can jump on a box here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're good. I don't even get off one.
So what happened was,
yeah. Meanwhile, back at the back cave.
This is actually a ripping good question.
Heaven.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a great question from Cosmic Kirsty. Do inmates often take care of each other rather than call the guards in overdose situations in fear of being moved? In response to the threat I said, I'll tell you what, personally, I never, ever, ever saw anybody call a cop on an OD.
Nope.
Right? because there's enough junkies on that tier that if you walk around and go, hey man, what's your drug of choice? And the guy goes H, they're like, come here, I need your help. Right. And I remember I've told this story on the boat so many times, but they came to get me to help save a dude's life that was a jerk off. Like, this is a dude, and I'm not saying that you just want the guy to go, but it seemed really jacked up that I was in there helping this dude because we did not like one another at all, right? And I said, give me his shower slides. And they weren't like the crappy ones. He had Reeboks, right?
Yeah.
Reebok shower slides. And I was holding this thing like a tennis racket, right? And just smacking him on the bottom of the foot with it as hard as I possibly could. And he'd go, and he'd sit up and he'd look around the room and they'd go,
nod right back off.
I had back to that fool for about 45 minutes, man. I'm not kidding. Like, beat the piss out of the bottom of his feet and saved his life. But the next day he was on his way to chow going like this, like he was walking on broken glass. And I was like, it's good, right? He's like, man, the bottom of my feet. He's like, I can't even explain it. Like, when you jump off of something, you land, he's like, the bottom of my feet are killing me. He's like, I have no idea what happened. I was like, I beat on him all day. For an hour, bro, just on there, just beating the crap out of him. You're welcome.
Yeah.
No, the guys, honestly, it's probably when inmates look most like real human beings is when someone drug overdoses.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't run away. It's not what you would think. You know what I mean? They're not dumping the dude in the shower. Like, everybody jumps on board for the big win and does whatever they can do to keep the person alive.
Yeah.
Unless you're locked down, nobody dies.
Yeah.
Right?
It depends on who your homeboys are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got homeboys, they're going to look out for you no matter what.
Yeah. We did have to call an officer on this guy. His name was Butch. He's from New Mexico. And, he was always like, oh, I can do any amount, anytime, anywhere. He had the brush. This is what I do. And, he did it and he OD'd. He literally fell back against the wall and slid down, slid down. And then I tried everything, man. I was punching him in the ribs and did everything I can to bring him back. And he just wasn't coming back. And his big homie was just standing there with his arms on the rail, just going, and his name was OG. And anyway, so I had to go get the cop or the dude was going to die. Anyway, remember how I told the story how you can talk to people at Terre Haute in the shoe if you go to the mailroom?
Yeah.
I go to the mailroom for something and he's just pounding on because he's in the hole, right? Because he OD'd. He's pounding on the thing. He's like, hey, did you hit me in my sides, bro? And I was like, yeah, dude, I tried to save your life, man. He's like, man, you got one coming, bro. You got one coming. I was like, okay, I can do whatever. Okay, this is what I do. Yeah.
Tough.
But yeah.
It always
really
freaks
funny
me out too because they're going out on a smear.
On a smear. This was powder, and it was just it was nothing, dude.
Yeah, you're looking at the fold going.
And I didn't do mine after that. I did it the next morning, but I couldn't do it that night for some reason. First thing when I woke up, though, I was like, oh man, that's got to be good stuff.
I got this. We were talking early in the show, and I said, cops will beat you within an inch of your life, and they'll do it with handcuffs on or anything else. There was a rookie, and this guy owes me dope, and he's walking by. We're almost to the chow hall. Now he's leaving. I'm going in, and the dude walks up, and he's like, "Hey, Rocco," and makes a big scene of my name and everything else, and throws a fold in my top pocket, the one that's got my damn name on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a bust, dude. And then he walks off, and right as he does, my head kind of gums up back toward the door, and there's two cops staring at me. And I'm like, dude. And he's like, Rock, come here. I was like, oh, God, dude. And he's like, what's in your pocket? I go, I'm assuming a telephone number. He just kind of threw something in there, and he's like, take that out and hand it to me. And I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm going to the hole. So I take it out and hand it to him, and this dude's an idiot, right? It's fenced and it's powdered. There wasn't a lot of it, but he goes like this and opens the fold, right? And I went, blew it right off the top of the paper, and and he lost his sense of humor. And he did everything by the book. He was a rookie, and they kept saying to him, "That's what you get, Rook." He's like, "Come on, man, well, you can't put that out there." And they're just laughing at him and mocking him. And he just asked me to put my hands behind my back, and he cuffed me up, and everything was good. And the second we got through that door to the shoe, he just started hitting me. And hit me from behind. It was all bad. This is the funniest comment I've seen all night.
That's crazy.
I was in the state for 9 months. Commissary never read my fingerprints. Hey, welcome to prison,
dude.
Oh, they never
I remember when they had some. Was it a fingerprint?
Red
it was. They
red.
At Black Canyon, right at Phoenix. Yeah, that thing was a. I remember when we were there when they brought it. I think when they started it. Yeah, that thing was a nightmare, man.
They also did it at Black Canyon at the same time. They installed that puppy in the regular chow hall so that a person couldn't go through the line twice.
That's right.
The dumbest crap in the world. So you would have to take your prison ID that had a barcode on it and scan it. And if you were smart, you would take a little thing off of a Duracell battery and scan it.
I did it all the time. Yeah.
All the time. Like,
yeah.
Every time they try to do something intelligent, the inmates tend to actually outsmart them, which is shocking. But
we had 560 inmates eat and 3 packs of batteries and a pair of headphones. Eat today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
and a can of and a ramen.
Yeah, top ramen.
The top ramen.
You know, when we were in Black Canyon, they were still kind of taking care of people. You could still get cereal. There were all kinds of things that was happening. You know, they had the milks where you could go get as much as you wanted, and then you could use those bags to make wine because they were excellent wine bags.
Yeah,
plastic. The cows.
Did they have that retina scan at Black Canyon, or was that? Am I thinking of SeaTac?
No, that came later.
That was a nightmare too with the retina scan, because if you were and I'm guessing, but this seemed to happen. Everyone who came in high and when they did the initial scan of their eyes could never get their eye retina validated. It would never work, and it's something to do with their eyes when they were high. I don't know if that was the reason, but it was a big failure. Anyway.
Well, the first time I ever entered the feds, my first yard is Victorville USP, but I'm not staying there. I'm just in the holdover, and it's the loudest unit because no one's staying there, right? It's just a holdover, and it was just I'm over on the phone, and you got to scream your name at the top of your lungs to have the computer hear you. So now everywhere I went, I got to be there going, "Something's going on!" Like everybody in the unit's looking at you like, "Why are you yelling, dude?" Because it's what I did the first time.
Yeah.
And you get so frustrated trying to match your own voice, like the 40th time goes through. Man, it would make me so mad. It really would. It would make. And the craziest part was Dominic, our friend in Black Canyon.
I love Dominic. Yeah.
Dominic could do my voice. I couldn't. Honestly, I'm sitting there one day doing it over and over again. He's like, "Hey, give me the phone." And he does my voice and he hands it back to me and the thing's working. I'm like, "You got to be kidding." So I would have to go find this dude to do my voice so I can make a phone call to my wife. It was the dumbest, stupidest.
Yeah, that is so crazy. Sorry, I'm messing with my vape.
How many men do you reckon are in jail because they are victims of domestic violence? You know, depending on what state you're in some of them, it's just remarkable. For instance, in the state of Nevada, if a phone call is made to the police, someone is being arrested and getting sent to jail. It is policy. So the crazy thing about that is if that happens 3 times, the third one's a felony, and it's an automatic mandatory minimum of 3 years in prison. So the answer to your question is, in the state of Nevada, there are a ton of guys in there that even when you read their paperwork, they're not accused of punching someone in the face. They're not accused. Domestic violence in that state can be you screaming obscenities at your girl, having her call the law for it, and you go to jail. This happens. So I think it happens an awful lot. But like I've said to a million people, if you let that happen to you twice, you deserve to go to jail the third time for sure. Because if a girl called the cops and said, you know, he's being violent, I'd be like, boss, go ahead and take me to jail. Because when I come home tomorrow, I'm packing every single thing I own and I'm moving somewhere else. Right? That's right. Never going to happen to me. You know, you're too vulnerable, especially like as an ex-con. You're way too vulnerable.
Oh man, that freaks me out.
It freaks me out too, big time.
That's why I'm with a good girl that wouldn't do that.
Yes, well, you need one of those. And I have an excellent girl, and I'm afraid of her. I'm fairly confident she could kill me. I love the movie.
Well, at least get you to read Dianetics.
Was it?
I said, at least get you to read Dianetics. That might kill you.
Here's the truth, man. Do you know what?
I have so many good killer stories about Scientology.
Yeah, she has a lot of fantastic.
I bet.
Yeah, I do too. My friends tried to get me to, just real quick, my friends and my brother, I don't know, it must have been 91 or 1990, tried to get me to infiltrate Scientology to become a member so I could tell them everything what it was about. Because it was huge, like in the late 80s, early 90s, at least in Hollywood, around the Celebrity Center. Yep. And my favorite restaurant was pretty close there, called the Cat and Fiddle. They had the best fish and chips. But anyway,
give me a second, guys.
Go ahead.
What's that? Okay. And I was gonna do it, but they figured the only one that could do it, who had the chutzpah to do it, was me. So they voted me to do it, but I never ended up doing it. But I wish I would have. You
know what? It would have been a ballsy move. But what happens, dude? If you get in there, and the next thing you know, you're a card carrying believer in Xenu. You know what I mean? Like that. They're not bad at what they do. Right, you got to realize that these people have got the freaking hang of it. It's not they didn't get to the size that they were. Like you said, there was a time where they were monsters. Right now, they're not. So many other things on Earth, this is killing them. Right? Mm-hmm. South Park telling the whole world what the OT levels were. That is just the funniest. They kept that under wraps forever, and then South Park makes that video. And it says, no, this is what they believe on the bottom.
What's his name? Chef, he quit South Park, right? Because they wouldn't stop clowning Scientology.
Correct. So he said he wanted out, and they wrote him out of there and made him a chomo.
Yeah.
That's how you get rid of a character, man. You want a character off of your TV show.
But you're right, man. When Dianetics Rick was really big, it was every other commercial, and the kids today wouldn't even know what a commercial is. But it was every other commercial you would see Dianetics. It was bam, big and
human mind.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to realize there's some really smart people that are Scientologists. So it can't be. It's not. I know it's a cult, and I'm not trying to glorify it, not even a little bit. But back to it was the real deal. They were trying to do, but thank God.
It's a scheme.
Well, one of the most frustrating things in the world to me, because I've spent a decent amount of time banging on cults, right? One of the most frustrating things in the world is you will hear people say, and I mean, it is probably the most quoted thing that anytime someone brings up Scientology, they bring up any cult, you're going to hear people go, "I would never be dumb enough to fall for anything like that." And it's a mindset that I think it shows a lack of knowledge on the subject matter, because these cults that have endured. Right, not flash in the pan things or whatever, but cults that have endured for decade after decade, cults that have third generation and even now maybe fourth generation people born into this. They're damn good at what they do, right? They're the best salesman on earth. I was a dirtbag, boiler room con man, right? And the guys that we would hire from Scientology were better than we were, right? These guys were, you talk about cutthroat salespeople.
You've said that before. Yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely vicious. Those guys can go sell anything. They could sell stock. They could sell anything they want and get rich. And you know what? They all do. For real. Every one of them get to that point where they're like, I can stick in this and I'm but I'm not selling anything from here. I'm going to go use the talent that you guys, taught me. Public speakers, all the back-end sales guys, all those rooms are run by Scientologists.
Yeah. Remember the toner rooms? The toner. I did that when I was maybe 16. Hi, this is Mr. Hoffman. Well, we see your toner in your Xerox machine is getting low.
Yeah. That's beautiful stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Casper and I knew a guy that was the king of spam. Right?
Yes.
The king of spam. This dude was hacking into computers, and he was pulling off your prescriptions. You're an old person. When I say old, you're my age, right? And you had a prescription for Vicodin or whatever with Walmart. He'd hack into it, or CVS, and they'd call and say, "Hey, we're picking up their contract now. The good news is you're saving $19 on your monthly prescription." And people go, "No way!" Yeah, just hit 4, right, to approve this switch. And then he would literally deliver the product. He wasn't ripping them off, and he would deliver it to them $19 cheaper. He did $400,000 or something the day he got caught.
Yeah, wow.
doing it.
And he was just a goofy kid, really. And this dude had Ferraris and planes, and he knew all about like transponders when you're landing in where he used to go to some island and
Turks and Caicos.
Yeah, Turks and Caicos. Because I can thank you. I can never. I always think I'm saying Caicos wrong, but anyway.
He had a boiler room set up on Turks and Caicos, ready to take his whole operation there legally. He was changing everything. He was going to be able to do it with doctors and all this stuff. And all he had to do was go and get on that plane. He had 2 Samsonites full of money, but he had to stop by the girl's house just because she needed to hear this one more time. What a rotten person she was.
and this is how the feds got on him. He was hiring people from the halfway house to work his call room and his packaging center. These guys are out of prison packaging Vicodin and mailing it. And
starting to drive.
There was a law firm.
All these convicts are driving brand new Beamers, Ferraris for real.
I mean, there was face tattoos.
There was a law firm in the building that he leased his space from, and the law firm's like seeing all these crazy dudes in the parking lot, and the law firm called the feds, say something fishy's got to be going on.
Yeah, all these guys got Rolexes. All these guys got cars. 9 out of 10 of them are black, right? They were thoroughly freaked out, and that's exactly what happened. They called the cops, and they went up and started the investigation.
I wish I could remember his name. Yeah, he was in Rolling Stone. Yeah,
solid dude too.
I bet you I could find that. I need to find that dude. I want to find that dude. Yeah.
How much time did he get?
Well, he's out, so I don't remember what he got. He got a piece, and they pieced him up. It was like 15 or something, like enough to hold you.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
When you first started telling me, I was like, "No way, dude! No way!" And he was the real. He was the real deal, Holyfield.
He really was. He had senators. He was buying people. That fool was buying people.
Yeah.
But I liked him. He was a really, really good.
I liked him a lot.
It only matters if he had any money hidden when he got out. That's all.
I would not fear that he had some money hidden.
Yeah.
It was pretty sharp. I love the movie Walk the Line. What kind of crimes send you to Folsom Prison? I saw the other one. What was it called? Walk Hard. The Dewey Cox story.
Dewey Cox story.
You'd get impressed with that
movie in the world, dude.
That's
any
film.
solid
movie.
Before that, I was a Caddyshack guy, and then Walk Hard, man.
Yeah, Caddyshack's strong, but Walk Hard. Really
I mean, just for like one-liners, one-liners and things like that. Yeah.
Yep. So
any kind of felony.
This is you, Russ. God help us. Weren't you in Folsom?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, it was any kind of felony in the state or multiple felonies will get you time. Period. And depends on what it is, you'll get sent there. I was there on that CDC shuffle, diesel therapy. So
on the tour.
Yeah. I was having fun.
Yeah, the fellas call it diesel therapy, people. If you anger the powers that be, they can transport you to another prison, and the day you get there, they can go, I think we're going to send you to another prison. Like this happened to me. I only had it happen once, but I got sent to a yard that was 45 minutes from my house on the street. And I was like, oh my God, like everybody I know can come see me. This is just going to be fantastic. And I got off of the plane, right? They took me out there, and I started walking across the yard, and I got maybe 40 feet from the building, and 2 cops come up. The guy goes, hey, turn around with me. We need to go over to, I go, oh, what's up? He's like, we just need to go to R&D. And I get to R&D, and he's like, you can't walk this yard. We got to package you up and send you. I'm like, what? And I'm like, why not? Like, how did I screw this up? I just got here. And he's like, you got to keep separate on this yard. The guy that ratted on me on my case was actually on this yard. Like, how did you figure that out before you said it? And I'm like, well, then ship the rat, right? You got the
right.
You got the good
Yeah.
You know, this is near my house. But
I don't need to be in PC. He does.
I was salty about it. And he wasn't in PC. He was walking a straight yard. I mean, it wasn't not a hella hard yard. I mean, it was Herlong, but I got shipped off to Herlong instantly and shipped to the next one. It sucked. Although I guess I dodged a bullet because they said Herlong was terrible, man.
Yeah, I had a friend of Herlong. He hated it.
Everybody seems to. They said there's no dope. The cops got real serious about like the stupidest stuff.
Food. Yeah.
Yeah, bad food.
I did a diesel therapy for 6 months almost. And I even went to Corcoran on a little travel. And that's where I ended up, in Corcoran shoe. After whipping that cop so bad. I mean, they just didn't take kindly to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nothing like doing the loop.
You're right.
I can't survive on that. Like if they did the diesel therapy thing to me, it would kill me because my body can't take it. Like even one trip on Con Air would take me 4 or 5 months to heal from. You know, you spend that entire day. It is the worst experience.
The Transcorp, they picked me up down in Texas to take me
the hard bus
from the feds. They picked me up. They let me out. Transcorp was there in a van, and we literally zigzagged across the country to get to Montana. Took 15 days, every 3 days in a van, in like a box van, and we ate McDonald's 3 times a day. It was just a burger and a whatever. And every 3 days they had to stop and let us sleep in a county jail, and we zigzagged all the way to Montana. And I'm telling you, when I got to Montana, you know, the ending's obvious. I was just so grateful to be there, and I was like, it was almost like it wasn't real. It became unreal because you're in the back of this van with these dudes, you know, on and off. You're trying to sleep completely shackled in black box.
Right.
Yep.
You're trying to sleep. And anyway, yeah.
And they are hard seats, man. They're hard.
The 2 benches.
They're not the benches. They're not the soft one. I've told the story on the boat before, but the very first time I ever got on one of those, I was not handcuffed to anybody, which was really weird, right? But because it was an odd number. So I was sitting alone. Everybody else was shackled to somebody. And there was an old man sitting next to this youngster in the seats directly across from me. And the guy says, hey, son, let me put my ass cheek up on your leg. He's like, for the first 45 minutes or whatever. And this youngster goes, the hell did you just say to me, man? And he goes, man, you know, some queer stuff, this and that. And he goes, all right, kid.
You're blocking me out.
About an hour and a half in, the kid goes, oh, my gosh. Like every time we hit a bump, he goes, yeah, you could have been feeling fine. He's like, yeah, let's do this. He goes, no, I'm all right, man. He's like, I can cut this out. But it's miserable. Those seats, dude, I went from Victorville to Phoenix on one of those bad boys. That's a long ride. And then for about 5 or 6 days, you just feel like, like you're dying. It's just the worst feeling in the world. Nothing's worse. What do they feed you on Con Air? They give you this little box. It's a cardboard box. It's got plastic on the top. In it are 4 pieces of bread that aren't really bread. And I know this because you could throw them on the floor under a bed. And 6 months later, pull it out. Nothing will have happened to it. There's no mold on it. It looks exactly like it did when you threw it on the ground.
Your
so I'm not sure what it is, but it's different. And then you get some meat that comes sealed in plastic. Also, not sure that's meat.
Yeah,
kind of got a green tinge to it.
Yeah,
the James Jones Kool-Aid bracket.
Jim Jones. Yeah.
But may I add, please?
Yes.
Sir. Before, it must have been 2008 when all that changed. When I first started flying Con Air, like 2004, 2005, they would give us these 2 gigantic peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every time I flew. And
really?
Everyone's hands would be sticky with jelly, and you can ask my wife or my mom. Anything sticky since I was a baby in my fingers, it just freaks me out, and I have to wash my hands. But you know, like in between, anyway. And they were the best sandwiches. They were like on this like kind of dried wheat bread, but they put so much peanut butter and jelly on it. It was just delicious. I couldn't wait to get them. They were great. And then one time I flew, and it was the little box. I was like, what the F, dude?
No, I never had anything even close to tasty on Con Air.
Yeah.
And I was always black boxed. So the funniest crap in the world is they drop this, they go up the aisle, they drop it in your lap, and you go like this.
How am I going to open this?
Right? You look like a cat. You know what I mean? You're like, right? And not everyone else is black boxes. You're looking at these jackasses 2 rows over. They're like, all kinds of, and your crap's jammed into your legs. And you're like, oh, dude, man. For real, it's torture. I hated Con Air. Are you trying to get the sandwich on your knee?
Yeah.
Now I'm getting angry.
I
always did that crap to you, man.
Yeah.
The worst one I've been in, easy for me. The worst one I was in was Lewisburg Federal Penitentiary. No windows, no heat, no air conditioning. That was the real problem. And some guards with a really serious attitude problem carried billy clubs, which is odd because they don't do that any other place. But they carry billy clubs there, which they're quick as hell to use. Right. No, all bad.
Yeah.
What about you, Casper?
Go ahead, Russ. What were you saying?
I said Corcoran was the bad one for me.
Just because it's old and cold, or
no, it's not that old. I mean, it was just straight gladiator school. I was there when all that stuff was in. I was in the shoe. I was doing a program like 16 months.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's when they were doing all the betting and the fighting and stuff like that. I mean.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Mine was hands down Pollock, and I've told that story where they're beating on the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like fear wise, I mean, I pretended to be tough, and like showed no fear. And you could ask anyone that was there, be like, no, that dude came in, landed like a 747. Yeah. Like a soldier, and was like, where's it at? I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to shoot it. I'm trying to fight it. What's up? But inside, I'm a scared, Girl Scout,
Yeah. Been there, done that.
Tracy was really bad because the guards would hand you a garbage can lid and a, something. And when you got off the bus and welcome to gladiator school.
Yeah.
Go handle your business.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are getting killed, man. And I know that sounds like we're exaggerating it a little bit or blowing it, but no, people are dying for nothing.
People are dying. And someone just asked, I'm an amputee. Would they bring people in? Absolutely. You see amputees all the time. You see people missing one leg or whatever all the time. And they don't really make a whole lot of provisions. It's not like they go, oh, well, this person would probably be in danger. I mean, they're in a wheelchair. We can't put them in there. No, nothing like that. They're just
carry
them. They don't care. Yeah, they don't care at all. It's just not how it goes down. How often do you have to fly? Well, it depends on how big a jackass you are. I had to fly a lot.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
Same with Russ, except Russ was on a bus because the smaller campus. But you only travel after you get in trouble, right?
The Gray Bar Motel.
Get in trouble, they then transport you to a new yard. And by the way, this is no joke at all. $35,000 cost $35,000 to take, or did when I was in. It's probably way more than that now, but it cost $35,000 to transport you.
And that's why the judge, she finally said, she's like, Mr. Yarby, you're not going back to California, because every time I drink a beer or miss a thing and I have to see the judge, they got to fly me to Montana. She's like, you're living in Montana. I said, the hell I am. I'm not living in Montucky. Everyone who testified against me lives up here. I was like, you've lost your mind. But it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
Right.
Well, that often is how it works out, isn't it? The things that look like it's going to be the worst end up being the best. Why do you girls think they haven't changed the civil rights breaches? No windows, no air. Oh, because we're dirtbags, right? They don't care about it. I mean, what do you hear every time people are getting ready to run for office, right? If crime is bad or anything else, what's the battle cry? Lock them up.
Yeah.
Throw away the key. And they don't. I mean, there's no other group of people on planet Earth that you can say, boy, I hope somebody sodomizes them for what they've done. Right? No, I'm not kidding, right? I mean, can you imagine saying that about anybody else? Boy, I hope that woman gets art. I can't believe she did that. But if you go, even Diddler, I'm not a fan of the Diddler, but what do people say? Boy, I hope he drops his soap as soon as he gets in there, right? It's the one group of people that you can joke about, right? SA, and people will not have a problem with you saying that. We are the disposable human beings, and I'm not a bleeding heart. We earned it, right?
Yeah.
They don't round us up at universities and churches.
No.
We screw up and we get put away, and people don't care about you once you go. Every once in a while something will happen, like this Brooks fellow that just died. These are the kind of things that bring it to attention, but they would like us to go away and never be heard from again. And I don't blame them. What's crazy is you get out and you see somebody that does something and you go, man, I lock that ass up, never let him out. And you go, the hell's happened? Right?
You want to backhand them.
Right? I'm not joking. Like I find myself saying things that I used to rag about all the time. Like they should. Maybe I give more people the death penalty. Right? I'm always, going, ooh, what am I doing? Maybe I don't believe that. I don't know. But yeah, they don't care about us. In all honesty, they don't. And again, we earn it. Sadly, we really do. So I kind of get why society's fed up with all of the crime, but we're kind of the face of it, particularly Russ.
Yeah,
inmates in general, not just them. Do they ever transport people just to annoy them? Yes.
Oh yeah,
diesel therapy.
Diesel therapy right here.
Yeah, that's what Russ was talking about. What'd you say? 6 months, Russ?
Yeah, just a little over 6 months. Yeah. I hit probably, and that's all in the state, so they leave me here for a couple of days and then they pick me back up and they wouldn't take me out of the hole. So
I never, I'm sorry. But I never experienced it myself per se, I've been shipped and it's taken me months to get somewhere, but it's usually like staying a month in Pahrump, Nevada, and then, 5 weeks in Oklahoma. But you talk to the old heads and they talk about the real diesel therapy where you wouldn't be able to call your family for 8 months, and they're on these buses going across the country without being designated, stuck on these they're literally designated as a holdover on these buses.
Yeah.
And they're just driving around the country and you're like, listen, no way did that happen. And then you talk to another old head and you're like, I was on diesel therapy with John Gotti, and it's craziness.
It was over 2 years that I didn't even talk to my mom.
Yeah.
I mean, when I finally got out of the shoe and got over to Ironwood and opened that prison, I got like 25 letters. All my money showed up,
Yeah.
So,
your stuff catching up to you. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
your property getting lost.
I didn't get to make phone calls, nothing.
And inevitably, every time I was on that bus, I was always thinking to myself, I just hope that somebody on this bus is the huge drug dealer from like Con Air, or maybe they know Vin Diesel, right? I'm just hoping that someone's gonna like pull this bus to the side of the road to try to bust everybody off of it, because there's nothing worse than Con Air, because you're looking out at free people driving by. You know what I mean? Like, oh, shit.
Through mesh.
Like 4 of them, and they're burning.
You land in Vegas. You land like literally at the end of the strip in Vegas, and you're just like, God.
Look at that. Got long-time listener, first-time chat. Gambling was my drug of choice. 4 months clean. Thank you for putting into words how much the boat has helped me. Hey, man, I respect that, Doug, hugely. And you know what? That's a very serious addiction. I think
super.
Yeah, if the fellas here have not experienced it personally, they've watched a gazillion people that have it, because it's the biggest addiction in prison. Make no mistake, right? Yep. I mean, holy hell! Football season in prison.
Oh man,
3 guys not gambling.
Yeah,
I was one of them.
The last time I was in, I didn't place one bet, but every other time, oh man, yeah.
I would kick in on card games, I would kick in the soup or something like that on a card game, but on some pinochle or whatever. But
pinochle is the most dangerous game in the world. I'd rather play Russian roulette.
Only when you play against me.
I'd rather play Russian roulette in prison than pinochle. You're way safer.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, I've seen some people butchered behind pinochle games, man.
Oh, man. I got kicked off this table at Terra High because dude kept saying these little slight comments about me cheating or whatever, or saying that I had hand signs like, whenever you want diamonds, you're going on your ring finger, saying some bullshit. And I'm like, dude, finally I was like, dude, say it again, and I'm going to be offended. And I just knocked his ass out right there. He just knocked him out. Yeah.
I told him I'd be offended.
Finally, they wouldn't even come let me play anymore. It happened like 4 times.
I love that.
Maybe it's you. Maybe it's not them. Maybe it's you, Casper.
Right?
Yeah.
Could be you, Casper. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate you, my man, and congratulations. You know what?
I loved his avatars too.
Get that feeling because it is the same addiction. If you start feeling yourself, watch some of the shows we do on relapse, because you will be in relapse for a really long time before you actually go and make that initial mistake. You feel yourself slipping, don't suffer in silence. Come and talk to people for real. There's a lot of people here that are familiar with that addiction. So,
yes, sir.
Lisa Clay is turning people green. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Awesome, the gambling thing. And guys used to say to me all the time, I do my sentence season to season, from football season to football season, and I get it. I mean, I ran sports books, and guys were like, and you make so much money on a sports book. Every time someone would start getting really frustrated, I would say to them, "Hey, there's three free tickets. Here, play these. They're 4-teamers. Man, you give somebody a 4-teamer, you got a 1 in 16 chance or something, right? To hit me, and it's." I don't feel like there's a real decent chance I'm going to get my skull cracked, and you can just sort of give them away. And
remember those weekends, though, man, when the bookies would get hit? There's always like one Sunday every season where those guys are scrambling.
Yeah, scrambling. They're on the phone. Calling home like,
streets.
Yeah, good to talk to you. No, seriously, it's nice to talk to you. Listen, I need like $6,000 sent into my books yesterday. Or you can do the old, what? Did you just call me a punk?
Right.
Crash out.
The old drive PC move. Charlie Muffins has been there since the very beginning, day one of the boat. Charlie, we love you, brother. We really do.
Yeah.
Solid dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks,
really,
Charlie.
Dude.
I know Charlie.
Yeah, good people. Now, here's what I got to tell you. This is the absolute truth. So, I've got a woman in the other room. Keep that on the DL. Now you get these rumors that start taking off all over the internet, but I got a chick in the other room, and we're kind of preparing actually to call Casper tomorrow. We're supposed to call him today. We're doing a lot with this Jester stuff and getting everything put together, but the phone didn't stop ringing today. No joke, from former Jesters and former people on the who are Masons and people like that. There's a lot of people coming forward. This is a pretty exciting time. I think that it really is perfect timing. I hope that I'm going to see all of you also over on Relatable Reach for the New Year's Eve show. This is going to be a kind of a big deal. You're going to want to not miss this one. We're making a couple of announcements that I think are going to.
Very excited.
Yeah. They're going to be. This is going to be a big deal. But I am going to have to end this one a little bit short.
Oh man,
I know, right? Well, you know what? I would let you guys go, but I don't think I can do that from my end. That would be fantastic. Oh, wait a second. Let me see if I can. There's a possibility I can. Let's see this. If I disappear and you guys are still there, knock yourself out. Let me see. If
no, that's all. I could.
I'll leave you guys. This is the Sean Atwood program. This is
I would feel.
He'll invite me on for 2 seconds.
You
Go,
have
hey,
big shoes to
this is
fill,
Elvis
man.
Bill, right? He just he's new here and then he just disappeared.
He did. Right. Here we are in the lifeboat.
Right.
Are we still alive?
Here.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
I'm kidding. Oh
man,
right,
I was just getting ready to
take off with
something clever to say.
Yeah. We were going to take off on it.
My heart is literally pounding right now. I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna try to take over, Russ.
See that? You're already doing the humming. You sounded like friggin' the honeymooners. Settle down, Ralphie. Settle down, Ralphie.
Well, we now see who the talent is. Yeah,
you're right.
Did you ever see an inmate leave only to see the idiot return? I have a better question. How often did you see somebody not return?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody returns, Lisa.
Oh, yeah.
8 out of 10 come back. 8 out of 10 come back so fast that there are guys that will say, and they'll all back me up on this, would you do me a favor and hold on to these kicks until I get back?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Here are my shoes. Here's my radio. Just hold on to this for me, man. I'll probably see you by Christmas. Happens every
TV.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Stop with your TV. You spoiled package having TV watching.
Yeah, this one guy came back one time and he was like, I was like, man, what happened? You know, because you always want to, what happened, man? You know, and he's like, he just looked at me. He was a Native American cat from Montana. He's like, it's a fast world out there, man. It's fast. Yeah, it is, bro. And he's in Montana. Yep. He's like, it's a fast world out there, man. I was like, man, couldn't have said it better, bro.
It has sped up. That's no joke. It really has. It has sped up. Best trio on the internet, says Elizabeth Frazier. You know what?
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's the one to leave up there. Now we really are going to wrap this up. But we will be back next week. You have my word. And people, don't miss this New Year's show. If you do, you will kick yourself in the backside because it is going to be more fun.
I can't wait. That's what we are doing New Year's because we don't drink, obviously.
Right.
And we're going to celebrate with you guys.
Yeah, you're not going to regret it. I promise you, this is going to be one of the coolest shows ever.
And we're going to watch last year's before.
It's locked and loaded right now. She actually rebroadcasted it, so it's worth seeing. It's over on Relatable Reese.
Awesome.
And it's a pretty special damn show, but this year's going to outshine it. You may not believe that, but
I believe.
But I got some stuff in it. Pretty heavy. All right, people. Between now and the next time we three see you, reach out and try to save somebody.
Please do, and always come from love, never hate.
Absolutely, man. Move in that direction. You are not going to regret it. Good night, all.
Right. Good night.
Good night, guys.